Hi everyone. A few things before I get started. I'm fine. Just really need to try to get some stuff straight. Last week, since the accident, things have been pretty hectic. So that's why I haven't been making videos, and I have a bunch to do. So also, some of you have already seen that Charlene started her own channel, The Blue Artist. So check that out as well. I'll also link those to my narcissism playlist. Okay, this message is from a PayPal contribution, and I know I have a bunch of them to get out. For everybody who's kind of contributed, thank you very much. Remember, the PayPal link is in the description box, so please, if you do enjoy this channel, please consider donating. And this person wanted to stay anonymous. Okay. I was a good kid, straight A's, gifted program, no drugs, sex, or back talk. When I was old enough, I got a job, paid for my own car, insurance, food, and clothes. As a young adult, I worked 3 jobs and bought my own house when I was 20. I have been in a stable relationship since I was 18 and have been married to him for 17 years. However, all these things that should be seen as good, my mother hated until it could help her. I got the constant, "you think you're better than me," screeched at me. She hated anyone who was successful, jealous of the lucky and hard workers for what they had. Whenever you hear, "do you think you're better than me?" they're not talking to you. They're saying, "you're better than me and I hate it." That's what "do you think you're better than me" means. And the proper response should be, "no, I know I'm better than you," but that's only going to drive you further down that rabbit hole. Those catchphrases that these narcissists use to throw you off your game and make you feel like you're the bad person. Okay, that's coming from somewhere. That's their own projection. Ex-bosses, ex-boyfriends, friends, family, landlords, all of them have slighted her in some way. She did nothing but throw boulders in my way, but I did it all without her. I have been no contact with my mother for 3 years and know about narcissistic abuse. But if you asked me about my childhood 5 years ago, I would have said she was mean to me and to my younger brother. She was neglectful of any feelings or emotions, and we rarely spent time with her. She was divorced from my father when I was 2, and had mostly live-in boyfriends the rest of my childhood, which was usually good because she left us alone. When we were in high school, she drank heavily and beat us, foaming at the mouth, hurling things at us, screaming, and name calling. Your typical narcissistic abuse. And what you say here is something I've said multiple times. A lot of us say that if you asked me this a couple of years, I couldn't even put this to words. Now that we understand what narcissism is and how it works, at least you're able to explain my mother has a personality disorder. When I was 15, there was an evening ceremony to induct me into the Honor Society. I agreed to bring a salad and borrowed a glass bowl. Before the ceremony, after school, I saw my brother was kept home to stay with her as she drank all day. Luckily, my mother is a functioning alcoholic, so I never had to pull her up out of her own slop. But that could just be a testament to how much she drinks as well. I asked why he was home already. That brought the first wave of rage, screaming in my face and threatening me. When she passed out, I started to make the salad, but she woke up and came into the kitchen in a rage and smashed the salad and bowl onto the floor at my feet. When I gasped in disbelief, she started screaming at me and swinging at me. I never fought back. I never objected, and usually never flinched or protected my face because that would bring more rage. Yeah, that I understand. When the narcissist is looking for the fight and they're not getting it, they tend to get more and more jealous. My mother would hit me, swing at me, and if I even put my hands up to defend myself, then it was like, "oh, you're raising your hands to me," and then it was like carte blanche for her. Like now she has the moral high ground to just go fucking ape shit on me. And because what she was trying to do was get you to hit her back. Then she could really let you have it. Call the cops. Just go crazy. She began to throw things at me: mugs, knives, a full pot of hot coffee. Thank God I ducked and it smashed on the wall behind me. I slipped on the glass and coffee, and I fell against the wall and onto the floor. She grabbed my hair, screaming that I stand up, and pulled me up by my hair. She grabbed my face and neck, squeezing me against the wall, screaming that I was a cunt and that I think my shit doesn't stink, etc. Then she spit in my face. She let go of me, screamed at me to stop crying and clean up the mess. Just an hour later, I had to wake her to ask her to drive me to the ceremony. I was mortified because I had no salad. My eyes were puffy and red, and I could barely keep myself from shaking. The stank of alcohol, the still drunk, and cooing how proud she was. All for show, I'm sure. This is another example of how the narcissist will try to steal your spotlight. Your mother was insanely jealous of you, clearly, and would go to any level to destroy something that's important to you, to make you go there empty-handed, make you look like somehow you're incompetent or you're a jerk, and completely ruin your night. And then the whole time she could still sit there and coo and play the doting mother of how wonderful she is. So therefore, this is another example of planting those seeds of narcissism within other people. So if you do complain, they'll just turn around and say, "Oh, your mother is just so wonderful. All she does is speak well of you," and so you look like the lunatic. This is the calculation of narcissistic abuse. This is how they pre-plan out how to ruin your day and ruin your night and ruin things that are important for you, and at the same time physically and verbally abuse you in private, and then play the doting mother in public. My brother was stabbed in the upper arm by her with a pocket knife, and she told me of a time she grabbed his ponytail and slammed his face into the table over and over. We were in terror. I remember hiding with him behind the couch, waiting for her to pass out so I could do my homework. This whole time she blared the song Seminole Wind on repeat day and night for weeks until we got evicted. When I hear that song now, I have to leave the room. I have other stories like this that I feel an urge to tell people, but I'm afraid to make them feel uncomfortable. Well, people will be uncomfortable by stories like this, but the people who are worth being in your life are going to sit there with you and at least try to have an understanding about it. The people that just say, "I can't handle this," and they get up and they walk away, they're walking out of your life. They're basically, I watched the Joe Rogan podcast. I like him. I like the way his mind works. I think he does a good podcast. And he interviewed Lance Armstrong this week, the cyclist who was caught doping. He won like 7 Tour de France's. All the speculation of doping, on and on and on. It's a pretty popular story. They took his title, but they didn't take anybody else's places who were all, because everybody failed, everybody was doping. He was the only one who got caught. And he was the only one who got punished. Not that got caught, that got punished. And he made a comment about people, when a question was asked about people in your life, about support, and he said, some people lean in when you're at your worst, and some people lean out. And the people that lean out, just push them out. You want the people that are going to lean in when you're having a problem. The people that are going to lean in, when you're telling them something that's hurtful about your past, that's something that's really bothering you. People either lean out or they lean in. It was said brilliantly, and it's a great point. You don't want these lean out people in your life. They lean out, help them out, and push them out. When I tell about a much less serious incident, people just clam up, and I feel like I overshared. I left home as soon as I graduated high school after another insane beating where she smashed my face into a dirty cat box, then dumped it over my head. This woman hates you. This woman is so insanely jealous of you and your looks, and that's why everything she's doing is just to humiliate you and to make you dirty. And my mother threw me into the cat box a few times too, so you're not alone on that one. My mother was a love to grab your head and bash it into things. That's and that rage, and when you didn't fight back, it was almost worse. I vowed I vowed it was the last one. I lived in my car for a few days until my grandmother agreed to let me move in. She was scared of my mother, I think. After she got sober 15 years ago, all of that past abuse, alcohol induced and not, was to be hushed and swept under the rug. I was never allowed to mention anything about it to my mother. Of course, because now she decides, and this isn't the other point, the narcissist decides when they get to abuse you and when you should get over it. So they get to fuck up, remember, they get to fuck up your life, and then they get to tell you when you should be over it. No, 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 no. You know that step in AA, making amends to those they harmed? I asked her about it nicely once when she was talking about her AA progress. She screamed, "You trapped me in this car to ask me this? You to make me feel bad, to punish me? Here's your fucking animal. Here's your fucking amends. I'm sorry. I don't think that is how it's supposed to go." She always pretended that it never happened or she doesn't remember anymore. But now I see that she doesn't care. Exactly. And the AA is just nothing more than a shield. Well, now I'm in AA, you can't say anything. You can't, because once you challenged her on one of the tenets, one of the 12 steps of AA, she reverted right back to her old self again, didn't she? Okay, that AA was supposed to be nothing more than a shield. Okay, so she didn't have to say I'm sorry. So she didn't have to make amends. And she didn't have to take responsibility for her own actions. That's how the narcissist works. They want to fuck up your life and then tell you when you should be over it. For the next 10 years or so, I co-signed loans, cleaned her house, lent her money, paid her bills, helped her move many times, and did countless odd jobs for her. Now I realize how manipulated I was. She pretended this whole time to like me to get what she wanted. I saw myself as the golden child since my brother had trouble with school, drugs, and the law. Looking back now, I realize I wasn't the golden child. Living with her, I got the brunt of the abuse. My brother even said she wasn't that bad unless she was drinking. I realized then that she treated me much worse than him, even before her drinking problem. When he pranked 911, we were both locked in the bathroom until one of us confessed. I was the one that told her the cops came. She knew I didn't do it, even said as much, but I got the punishment. When he had chicken pox, he stayed on the couch. When I got it, I was expected to clean the whole house. When she drove blind drunk and forced us to come home, I had to sit in the front seat and wasn't allowed to wear a seatbelt. This woman wanted to kill you. This woman wanted, like, and the fact that you still try to help her out over and over again, this woman is just narcissistic scum. In 2009, she was losing her house, and I offered to buy her a house 20 minutes away from me so that she could live there, paying the mortgage, spend time with her grandsons, and babysit, and be closer to her job. I wouldn't let her anywhere near my kids, nowhere near my kids, and buy her a house. You're just playing with fire there. She made a lot of suggestions which were really subtle demands, and the house I bought was more than twice the price we originally agreed on spending. The mortgage payment was $1,000, and she told me she could only pay $600, which was another blow. Guess what? I agreed. We also had to put in a fence because she didn't want to walk her dog. She only had the kids at her house once in 4 years. She was late with the rent every single month, and turned out she's a compulsive gambler. Every time I asked about the rent in our agreement that she pay on time, she threw a fit claiming that it's the only time she's been late. I think she may actually believe that. Well, they get caught up in their same lies and they'll continue just to spat out the same lie over and over again. After years of late payments, she had finally lied herself into a corner after gambling away her paycheck and telling me it never came in the mail. I told her I was done talking to her about the rent. She was to only talk to my husband. A few blocked phone calls and texts about the rent later, she stopped trying. Even as the holidays, birthdays, and Easter all passed, I never heard from her, which is what she wanted. After Easter, she sent me an email demanding to take my young kids on a Saturday. I immediately jumped into action to plan my husband meeting her. He stopped me. He's like, "Why do you want to give her the kids? She has no interest in them before." "You don't have to do what she says." He snapped me out of it, and I never answered the email. I figured that her friend's grandkid had a birthday party or something. My brother confirmed that later. That was the last time I heard from her over 2 years ago. And again, they only want you when they need something, your kids included, and you will keep taking the bait, until somebody, like you said, like your husband, snaps you out of it. When she finally couldn't pay the rent for the whole month, she called my husband and he gave her a month free to move out. He even offered to help her move. In the meantime, she called my husband's boss and tried to get him fired by telling lies that his boss was too uncomfortable to tell us. Thank God he saw through her crazy accusations, but it is still on his record. That was the nail in the coffin for me. I used to think I would be back to being her daughter after she moved out, or maybe once she stopped gambling and got some help. But after seeing her true colors, I'm done forever. When she left, the house was a disaster. The only condition we gave her was that she didn't smoke in the house. Her last two places were so bad that I, as a smoker, could not stand to be inside. She, of course, smoked in it and ruined the house. The walls had dog hair stuck to them in orange tar. Carpets were so black you wouldn't know they were beige, besides where the furniture had been. It took us 4 months to air out, paint, clean, and repair everything she ruined, including her ripping the wire out of the washing machine after my husband said she couldn't have it. Since going no contact and watching videos like yours, I have had so much more of the truth come up. I had forgotten about the terrible ways she has always treated me. I see the manipulation for what it was. I see how vengeful she is, how selfish. She was so covert with me even after I knew what she was. I didn't see the full scope. Well, her beating you and shoving in your face and cat shit I wouldn't really call that covert. I think you were so badly abused you just couldn't see it. Like a Stockholm syndrome almost type of thing, that so much is happening to you, so much bad stuff is happening to you, it just becomes normal. And now you're thinking she's covert. She shoved your face in cat shit. That ain't covert. I will probably never know all the lies she told, but they do come out as time passes. I know I am healing because I am now in college, finally doing what I love, and I see a career in my future that I think I was meant to have years ago. I have never been so confident, but I still have a long way to go. Thanks for listening and for any feedback. And good luck to all of you going through this. All right. Well, thank you for your contribution. Thank you for your message. And this is something a lot go through. Now, you take on so much abuse, you don't realize how out in the open it really is. And you're actually calling your mother a covert narcissist when she's smashing things, throwing shoes at you, throwing coffee at you, shoving your face in kitty litter. That's not covert. You've just been so abused that you've taken on so much abuse that it's normal for you. That it's like, it doesn't even register anymore. Your mother is an outwardly violent alcoholic who is jealous of her own daughter. Period. And if it's the vices and drinking, it's now gambling. Or its problem might be hoarding from the condition of your house. Or the pets with the dog hair all over the place. Your mother's going to go from one thing to another. And she's a total user. She used your trust. She used your money. She didn't pay you on time. She When she doesn't get her way, she gets vindictive, she destroys things. And the only time she wanted to spend time with her grandkids is when she could show them off, to pump up her own self-worth and the image of others who don't really matter. So you've done the right thing by going no contact. Stay no contact, block everything from her, and don't ever respond to her again, because somebody like this will never, ever change. Thank you, everybody, for watching. And again, if you enjoyed this channel, please consider making a contribution to the PayPal link in the description box below. And again, also check out Charlene's channel, The Blue Artist. There'll be a link to her channel in the description box as well. This is Ollie Matthews. Thanks for watching. I'll see you all again soon.